All right, guys, we are back. It is day number 85 inside of our 30K in 90 days challenge. And we're going to jump into the fact that you must be intentional for it to work. What is it? Whatever it is that you want. If it's a successful business to work, then you got to be intentional. If it's a successful relationship, you got to be intentional. If it is a healthy life, you got to be intentional. If it is a great relationship with your children, then it must be intentional. So you must set the stage for being intentional for whatever it is to work. Before we get into all of the goods, I want to let you guys know we only have 5 more days left after this for our challenge. And oh my God, this has been such an amazing journey. It's been challenging for me. I've been pushing through. There's some days I've had to do double headers because of just my schedule in the fall picking up. When I started this, I didn't have those things, right? But we keep going. And so I'm excited to be here at day number 85 as we move towards the last 5 days of the challenge. I want you in tune with me. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit the notifications bell so that you can be notified when I go live. All right. Now, who am I? Just in case you're tuning in for the first time, or maybe you didn't catch it another time when you were here. My name's Tracey Walker. I am a baseball mom. I'm a documented seven-figure earner here in a digital marketing space. I've been able to take these digital marketing skills that started learning back in 2008 to allow me to be full time. I've been able to have success utilizing digital marketing and network marketing, where I made close to $2 million in a couple years and had a team of tens of thousands of people all over the world. I've taken these skills, I've applied it to affiliate marketing. So I've taken other people's products and services and not worried about team building and trying to teach other people how to do what I do, but literally just making sales, been able to be the top producer, the top earner, or one of the top earners or top producers in any affiliate marketing program I've decided to market and promote. And last but not least, I have used these skills to create my own products and services over the years. I had my first $10,000 day back in 2010. I created a training on blogging because I was teaching people how to get 20 leads a day from blogs. Okay. And we were rocking and rolling back then. So I've had a lot of success in creating my own stuff as well. This challenge is all about showing you how to use the skill of digital marketing to create a business that gives you the time and the financial freedom that you want without you having to do all of the heavy lifting. In fact, being able to really focus on 2 solid hours a day and really being able to just ramp things up for yourself and create a life that, used to just be a dream. All right. And so finally, guys, I'm also a marketing automations expert. Because I am a baseball mom, because I am a single parent, I have a lot going on all the time. My son's on 3 different sports teams. So all 3 of these teams have practices, they have games throughout the week. He's obviously in school, he's in the 5th grade. I take him to and from school. I have to feed him, I have to clothe him, I have to buy stuff. I just went to the store to buy 3 new pair of gym shoes, right? For different things he have going on. And so cleats, right? Football gloves, all the stuff, all the things, right? That I, as a single parent, am responsible for doing one way or another. And still on top of it, have to pay the bills, still on top of it, have to work, still on top of it, have to make sure I commit to my challenge that I've been doing every day for 90 days and or even if it's not on the day, I still get it done, right? We still are in 85 days, okay? And so automation is my lifesaver, okay? If it were not for automated email sequences, me learning how to do that, if it were not for automated sales funnels and sales processes that do all the selling and telling for me, so that I do not have to be on a Zoom all day or every day, so I do not have to be on a conference call, stepping away from my son's baseball game because I've got to be in the bushes talking because I'm not trying to disrupt the other parents. If it were not for things like that that allow me to get the point across without having to physically be there, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I'm just gonna be honest, right? I'm one person. And I just don't know how many hours people really have. I mean, even if you're working full time, I just don't see you being able to work full time and build a business, and it take you 8 hours a day to do it. It's just not going to happen, right? So the 2 hour a day model that we teach, and that we know is possible, is very valid. And the automation part is what makes it all possible. All right. So let's talk a little bit about being intentional. Now, on day 84, we talked about the framework of recreating your belief system and putting a system in place for yourself such that you can actually redesign your life to start getting the results and start living the things that you truly want to live and experience. Having a belief system, like, right, and being like, okay, this is what I believe, but then not being intentional, right? Like, I could have a desire to do a 90-day challenge, right? And then say I'm going to do it. But if I don't have the proper intention set in place to do it, I'll do it for a little bit, then I'll fall off. I'll do it for a little bit, then I fall off. And a lot of people are like that, right? And it's not a problem from the standpoint of something is wrong. It's just that, well, then results are going to be up and down, 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 right? Why? Because of your inability to set an intention and be intentional with it. Okay. And so let's start this off. I've got like three different steps that I want to give you in reference to being intentional, how to be intentional, so that the things that you want to work for you in your life, they can actually start to manifest and start to work for you. Okay. So, number one, I want you to write down what you intend your life to be like by December 31st this year. Right now, when we did our belief in day 84, I talked about what is your perfect life? What does your ideal life look like? Right? The perfect day. That is an ongoing thing. Like, how do you really want your life to feel and look, right? And vibe with. But what I'm asking you to do now is something slightly different. I'm not asking you, what do you want your life to look like overall, right? Just the whole totality of your life. Like, oh, you're going to just step into the being of and living the way that you have always dreamed. That's not what we're doing, because we've got between now and December the 31st. And so that's more of a short term. That's more of a short term. So I want you to write down what you intend your life to be like by December 31st of this year. So, do you intend to have all your bills paid and all of your debt paid off? Do you intend for that? If so, write it down. Do you intend to have generated an extra $20,000 in a business that you've chosen to build on the side, right? Do you intend to do that? Write that down. Do you intend to be on a regimen where you're working out every day, or where you've lost 5 pounds, or you lost 10 pounds, or whatever it is? What you want to lose 25 pounds by December the 31st. You're going to be 25 pounds lighter. Okay. You're going to release that weight. Okay. If that's what you intend to do, write that down. If you intend to say, okay, with your marketing, by this day, I am going to have, some outsourcing done. I'm going to have my system set up. I'm going to have 10, 20 leads coming in every single day, right? I'm going to have content being posted through automation or software or tools or whatever, but my stuff is going to be, you know, lined up and systemized, right? If that's what you intend for your business, write that down. The bottom line is that if you do not write down your intention, you do not have one. You can say it. I know you can say, oh, this is what I want. This is what I'm feeling. This is okay. You can say it, and that's fine. But I can almost guarantee that you've been saying that anyway. You've probably already been saying that. And if you look at your life, you're not where you said you've been saying you was going to be. Are you? Why? Because it's not just about that, right? Some of us, you have to do a little bit more because your programming runs deep. So you've got to get down into that virus, and you've got to get that junk out of there. So the way that you do that is you can't just speak it. You're going to need to write it down and make it plain, so that he sees it can run. Who is he who sees it? You. You need to see it. You need to run with it. So you ain't writing it down because why? You being lazy. Write it down. Write those intentions down for the end of the year. This way, this gives you a short-term something to run towards, to keep your eye on the prize, someplace you need to be. You got somewhere you got to be. All right. And you need to be there by December the 31st. Where's that place? You need to write that down. Where is that place you need to be by December the 31st? Now, listen, I want you to keep this in mind. It's not going to happen because you want it to. See, you got this feeling and somebody taught you somewhere that you could just want it. I just want this thing. Okay. And that's very childlike in the sense that you do not understand, you do not understand what goes into bringing something from the unseen into the scene. Okay, you think you can just say, I will McDonald's, I will McDonald's, and your mama and your daddy's supposed to run and get you McDonald's. Okay, that's not the way this works. It's not going to happen because you want it to. It's going to happen because you intentionally become the person that allows it to happen. You have to intentionally be the person. So if you're not intentionally making changes, if you're not intentionally changing your thoughts and your processes and speaking good to yourself, if you're not intentionally doing these things, then you will unintentionally keep getting what you've been getting. Because as I shared in day 84, you will get by default what is running in your program. So we've got to actively make changes on this. Okay. So I want you to write it down. And please keep in mind that it won't happen because you want it to. You got to be the person. It's going to take work. It's take growth. It take work. I won't say work again, but it takes evolution. That's what I'm trying to say. It takes evolution. It takes an actual action-based uh, faculty in order for this to happen, whatever this is for you. Okay. Step number 2 is listen. When you plant the seed of your intention, right? We said this is what I want to happen. I desire for this thing to happen, and you're working on becoming that person. You've got to keep in mind that you got to allow things to gestate. Okay, you cannot, like, when a woman becomes pregnant, right? And we all know that under the design of things, that gestation process is about 9 months, right? The gestation process is about 9 months. Okay. Sometimes things don't go the way that they should go. Sometimes things are not going as planned. But the gestation period, we've all come to recognize and can accept, is 9 months. You cannot get pregnant and then every day, day 3, day 12, month 1, month 2, you trying to figure out where the baby is. That is ridiculous. You don't even expect the baby to be healthy at 2 months if it came out. You don't expect the baby to be able to sustain life if it's 1 month and it came out. You don't even expect that, do you? You just carry the baby knowing you got this amount of time to go and you deal with it. You deal with it. But that's the power and the difference in the seen and the unseen. So you can see the belly growing. You know the baby is in there. You feel the baby moving around, right? You could see it technically, right? When you are working on goals and dreams and things of that sort, what happens is that you can't see these things. You can't see, not in the physical. You can see it in your mind, but you can't see the new house, right? Because you're not physically in the new house. So you're planting the seed for the end of the year, for the $20,000 that you want the end of the year. You're planting the seed, but you don't see the $20,000 right now. So what happens is it's easy to get to week 2 between now and the end of the year and be like, oh, let me dig that up because I don't see it. So I'm impatient. So it must not be coming. You're impatient. You're not allowing gestation to take place. It is insane to plant a rose bush. And then if you don't see the rose when you wake up in the morning, to think that it's not gestating because you don't see it. There's things that need to happen that you don't see as it's taking root. You've got to just know that's what happens. That's how seeds actually expand and grow. There's a gestation period. The problem is you don't know when the period is or how long it's going to take, and your need for control is causing you to undo things that you've done. You set something in motion and then you retract it. You speak something into existence and then you pull it back. You say you want to have this life and then you pull it back. It's almost like Spider-Man has a web and Spider-Man sees that the robber is trying to get the old lady purse, and he extends the web to encompass the robber, and then because the time that it takes for the web to get to the robber, it ain't get there fast enough. He retracts the web. Now the robber still gets the old lady with the purse, because It didn't happen as fast as you wanted it to happen. You got to just let it go. Let it go. It will get there. So please do not dig up things that you plant because you can't see its gestational period. And then you just assume because you can't see it or you don't know what it is that there isn't a gestational period. It's nothing happening at all. And that would not be the case because everything that you plant can grow if you nurture it and water it and give it light to do so. But the minute that you shut the light out, cut the water off, and let the soil dry up, well, then you've essentially said that you don't believe in it, right? You really don't believe in the seed that you planted. It sounded like a good idea. You were inspired. You just came from an event. You were hyped up. But the actual patience to let something take root so that it's strong and builds a good foundation may be the area that you need to work on. So I want you to plant the seed, what you intend to happen, and then allow it to happen. You can't control how, but you can allow it to happen however the Most High sees fit for it to happen. You just have to let go and allow it to be because what you said is what you should get as long as you don't pull it back, but you got to also add the emotional to it. All right. So that's step 2. Step 3 is you got to give up some stuff. You got to make some sacrifices. And the sacrifices I'm talking about, you got to give up this doubt. You got to give up the doubt. And that could be a hard thing to do. I know. Everybody has been through that, especially in the world of entrepreneurship. Giving up doubt, giving up the belief that something's going to work, giving it up. You've got to give up the doubt. Either you believe in something or you do not. If you do, then you roll. I will tell you, there's things that I started off believing it and then things then that I don't believe in it in that way. Right? Not that I don't believe in it at all. I don't believe in it in that way. There's companies I've been in where I believe in the company itself, and I believe that the company was going to operate a certain way, or that the way that things were said to me, or construed to me, or explained to me, that things were going to happen a certain way. And then after a year or two, when things aren't going that way at all, then I lose or I've lost belief that that thing is going to happen in that way. And that's okay. If you can make a decision that now this is something that you're going to align with because of that, that's okay. But to just remove yourself because of fear of unknown, that's not making a logical decision. That's not making a decision with information. That's just you being afraid that it's not going to happen. So to avoid any disappointment, or to avoid the feeling of loss, or to avoid the feeling of you were slighted in some way, you remove yourself from it. That is a fear-based type of way of living. And that's the doubt we talk about. We got to give that up. We got to give up these old patterns of belief. We got to give up these old patterns of belief. Well, I don't know now. If the news said it, it must be true. See, I know some people that they live and die by the news. The news is a controlled media. I thought everybody knew that, or not everybody, but a good group of people understood that there's just a handful of companies that control all the TV, radio, news, media outlets, right? So if we know that, then we know that those top 6 or 7 entities are what's controlling it, right? So if you know that, then you can't believe everything that's there because you got only a handful of people that are perpetuating what you even see to begin with. So you've got to then say, okay, now if you want to look at it, but that can't be your only source. You've got to start looking outside of that now, right? Especially in today's day and age, there's no shortage of information. So that old pattern of belief that you're going to get all of the accurate and precise information from the news, for an example, would be a flawed pattern. Especially in 2024, you're going to have to update that programming, right? That's how they get you. Because if you don't want to change, then they can control and manipulate you from the one way that you feel comfortable doing it, right? Like my mom, before my mom passed away, and my mom passed away in 2003. So that just put this in perspective. Okay. This ain't like last year. But she was the person that she would get paid and she would go to the bank and cash her check. Okay. It wasn't no direct deposit for her. Or she'll go get the money, go get a money order and pay the bills. That's the way she did it. That was her pattern. Okay. And then here I come, like, man, why don't you just let it get deposited in your bank account? Why don't you just create that each? She didn't want to do that. That was a pattern of belief that she had based on the fear of not being able to control the money, or in case something happens, or she wanted to make sure that she got this money in her hand so she could actually take it to the electric company, take it to phone company, right? She or mail it in. She wanted to do it herself because it created a sense of security for her. But that was an old pattern of belief. Some of you guys operate with old patterns and beliefs that do not serve you today. It's like I'm going to listen to my A track. I gotta have my A track. I don't know about that streaming. I don't know about that down. I don't know that Apple Music. I don't know about that. Right? It's like, well, wait, you gotta evolve. And if you stay too far in the past, then what happens is you become obsolete. So even your thinking can be obsolete. Right. And so you want to give up these old patterns of belief. All right. You got to give up people who don't support you. You've got to do it. This when I say sacrifice, I don't mean give everything you got. Give your last to the you take off the shirt off your back, your shoes, walking bare feet because you giving. I'm not talking that. I'm talking about there's gonna always be an exchange for something. If you want the lip balm, then you've got to exchange the money and you can get the lip balm, right? If you want the cell phone, great, you can swipe your card and give those people that digital money and they can give you the cell phone. Okay. There's always an exchange. So if you want to be around people who do support you, in exchange for that, you got to give back out to the universe all the people who don't. You can love them, but you can give them back to wherever they once came. You can give them back. It's okay. Guess what? They don't support you no way. So what you holding on to them for? Love them from over there. Love them from over there. I'm not telling you turn your back on your family, your friends. I'm not telling you don't talk to them. I'm not telling you don't love them. I'm telling you, you got to exchange those people for the people who do. Because how else are you going to get what you want to get with intention if you are intentionally holding on to people who are intentionally bringing you down or causing you to think the opposite of where you wish to go? That makes zero sense. So if you are intentionally focused on where you want to go by December the 31st, then if these people represent a brick that's inside of a hot air balloon on the ground, the only way the hot air balloon is going to rise up, in other words, for you to go where you want to go, is you got to throw the brick off. Get rid of the brick. Get rid of the dead weight so that the balloon can rise. Okay? You've got to give up questioning yourself. Right. And I find myself saying it, I see it a lot with my son's baseball team, with him sometimes, but even some of the players on his team that are not necessarily as they don't play as much, right? They're not as advanced, or their baseball IQ, their muscle memory, their instinct. I mean, they all are only 10, 11 years old. So I'm not saying they're MLB instincts, but at the level that they're at, I can tell some of the kids, they don't trust themselves yet, right? So they'll go to swing, and because they think it's a strike, right? They go to swing and then they don't, right? And then it is a strike, and then they're like, "Shh," right? They might hit their helmet, right? And it's like, okay, get it together, right? And I will say, trust yourself, trust your gut. You knew what it was. You knew what it was, but something got in there and pulled you back, right? Go for it. Go for it. That's what go for it means, right? It's to trust your gut, trust your instinct. When you do something enough times, your instinct kicks in, and it's not about thinking. This is some of Josiah's coaches say, stop thinking. Stop thinking. You've played this game enough to know, just go. You know what to do. Your body, your muscles know what to do, right? Because you've practiced this so much, the distance, the speed, right? The location of the ball as it's coming over the plate. You know these things, right? So same thing for us, right? You've got to stop questioning yourself because you know that you are setting a new intention. And if your intention is to have something that you've never had, then of course you're going to question yourself, because the old self is still trying to control the situation. And the new self is saying, I'm throwing you off. You are dead weight. But the old self keeps fighting to retain its ownership of you because the old self has had you all this time. The old self can convince you to not go for it. The old self can convince you that you should be afraid. The old self can convince you that you're not going to make your money back. The old self can convince you you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. The old self can convince you that you can't make it happen. The old self is so used to you succumbing to it that the moment you set an intention to do something else, that old self get jealous. That old self wants to jump in there and try to tell you and the new self that y'all can't have control, but you got to let that new self, your worthiness, kick in and say, we can take it from here. You've had enough time, and look where we at. You ain't bit more got us where we need to go than a man in the moon. So we are good on you. Have a seat. In fact, have several seats. Okay, that's the way that you need to handle the old you that questions you, and let the new you, the worthy you, start to step in, gain muscle, gain control, and start steering you where you need to go. But these are things that you're going to have to give up. Okay, you cannot get the new life while holding on to the old. Got to let go of the old life, the old thinking, the old thought processes, the old feelings, the old experiences, the old way of doing things. You got to let that go so that you can take on the new way, which is your intention, which is where you are going, which is what you are doing. It's what you see when you combine that with your belief system. So I want you to realize that you've got to be intentional for it to work. You cannot do this ad hoc. You cannot just, I want to do it and keep doing the same old shit you've been doing and think you're going to get something new. That's not going to happen. Okay. You should already know that. Okay. I shouldn't be telling you something you haven't already experienced. If anything, I'm singing to the choir. Right. But I am just reminding you, just in case you're a little bit off track, that you got to get back on track, set some intentions. Okay. And so the main thing is I want you to make sure that you set your intention for the end of the year, because we've got less than 90 days to the end of the year. Okay. And I'm doing some things with a special group where I'm going to be working with them every week every week as we complete out the end of the year. Okay. And so I've sent out some emails and some things like that to make sure that we get the final 10 slots put together. Okay. And if you're not in that number, you can reach out to me and say, Trace, what do I have to do where I can be coached by you as part of this mastermind? Every week we're together for the remaining weeks of the year so that I can help you to actually get what you intend for yourself. But if you don't know what you want, if I'm the server at the restaurant and you can't tell me you want a Sprite, then I can't bring you back a Sprite. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just stop being ridiculous. You're not going to come to the restaurant and just sit there and be like, I don't know what I want the whole entire time and expect me as the server in that case to go and just randomly go and get you stuff for you to constantly like, nope, not that, nope, not that, nope, not that, right? Well, that's the way the universe works. You got to be specific with what you want, and then you can get that thing. And we talked about the gestation process of allowing it to come to you. All right. So this is how you are going to be intentional as we move through the end of the year. I hope that you got some great value from this with resetting your mind and getting things rocking and rolling. Guys, we're rolling into the last 5 days of the challenge. If you have not gotten yourself up to speed, it might be a good time that you start the challenge again in the next 5 days. Just start with day number 1 and leverage these 90 days again, right? Of course, we would have completed 90 by then, but you could run this 90 days again. That's the whole beauty of it, is that this is something that you can run over and over and over and start to intentionally design your life the way that you want. Okay. Now, if you'd like to work closer with me and make sure I work with you, be a part of the mastermind and get things rocking and rolling, you got to be intentional. Okay. This is not for the weak at heart. This is not for the people, I think I want to change my life. It'd be nice if I made a couple $1,000s. No, I'm looking to help people change their life because they seriously, intentionally, and deliberately want to have a transformation by the end of the year. Okay. If that is you, make sure that you go ahead and click the link in the description. It says get the blueprint. I want you to get my free digital marketing blueprint. I want you to review those 7 steps. And then I want you to take the steps to to get plugged into our community. The instructions on how to do that are inside of the blueprint, but you first got to get it. So click on the link below, get your hands on that blueprint, and let's get rocking and rolling. Get those 7 steps under your belt. Now, if you're watching this over on Facebook, you will find the link to the blueprint in the comment section. Okay, so go ahead and click that link. If you're watching this on some other platform, it's made it somewhere else and it's not here on my YouTube channel, or it's not on you're not watching this on my Facebook page or whatever, Facebook profile, then there you go, right here. MakeMoneyWithTracey.com is where you want to go. It's going to give you access to the blueprint. Put your email in that box. My automated email system is going to send you the link, and you're going to be able to download the PDF, which is the 7 steps to passive daily pay. All right. So day number 85 is complete. You now know how to set your intentions, and I will see you on day number 86. Later.